Absa's relationship with the Epic goes back to almost the very, very start, and they are part of the fabric of both the Epic and indeed mountain biking in South Africa. Geoffrey is not just a managing executive at Absa, he's also a mad keen mountain biker with a few races under his belt. Geoff, welcome on what is a very exciting evening for Absa, for the Cape Epic, and for mountain biking in South Africa.
Dan, it's wonderful to be with you this evening and to be on the show. I'm deeply humbled by the route. I've ridden a few Cape Epics, and I think as with all of them, this is going to serve up to be another cracker of an event in March next year. So really looking forward to it. All I can say to all the riders that are taking part in the race next year is eat less, train more, and look forward to it.
Wise words from someone who knows the space well, and you know it from both life on a bicycle, but also from this fabulous relationship that Absa has with the Epic. It is going on for yet another year. It's such a wonderful partnership. What keeps it enduring? What keeps this Epic and Absa partnership going so well, so strong?
So Dan, I think all partnerships are grounded in just that. It's about two parties coming together to serve a purpose, support each other. And I think that's exactly what the Absa Cape Epic, between us, Absa Bank, a proudly African bank with its roots firmly grounded in the continent, and an event like the Cape Epic with Kevin Vermaak and Mike Flynn and the rest of the team, we really see a kindred spirit in how they approach the race, how they want to showcase the race and the continent and this beautiful country we live in to the world, and that is what appeals to us as a bank. We call this. We have a term in the bank called Africanacity, which is really about a unique way of getting things done. And together with the Absa Cape Epic, when you go back to October, bringing an event such as that back onto the calendar in the way we did it, I think it just demonstrates that we can get things done and showcase this wonderful country to the world.
I think Africanacity is a great attribute to take into the Epic, because you have to get it done one way or another, no matter what challenges are thrown the way of the riders. And those riders are a very big part of your involvement. I've been speaking to people like David Higgs and John Smith in the last couple of weeks. They've got their entries. They can't wait to go. And I know for you guys, you bring this armada of Absa riders down. How excited have the Absa customers, the Absa clients been that the race is back in its normal slot, and it's looking like it's back to the race we know next year?
You have no idea. I mean, the amount of customer queries we get, also through key partners of ours at the bank that we look to invite and bring to the event, either through riding the race or through the tripper programs. The demand is just overwhelming. I think the fact that David and John and Joel and many others, Pato, Lechejo, are all going to be there next year, it's going to serve up to be a wonderful, wonderful event.
It's also going to be a beautiful one, and it's one that showcases South Africa, not just to the rest of the country, but indeed to the whole world. And it's a chance to get into parts of the country that we maybe don't quite see so often. As somebody who's actually ridden this particular race, there'll be people who are coming into it for the very first time. Give us a snapshot just from your personal experience, Geoffrey, of what makes it magical for you, even on those days when you're shaking your head and thinking, what on earth was I thinking doing another one of these?
Dan, I think what makes it unique in its construct is that first and foremost, it's a two-person race. So you're there with your partner. You suffer together. You have moments of joy together. You ride the single track, the hills. You go through the rain, the mud, and you're there. And I think that is the unique element of this race. It's one of the first partnership races in the country. That's what is really sets it apart. Secondly, I think, the fact that it's 8 days versus maybe some of the more shorter races, 3-day races, makes it also deeply unique. But then the fact that it embraces the family, it embraces the communities that it goes through, the towns, it injects an enormous amount of money into the local economy. And from a bank's perspective, that is very, very, very important to us.
Final question for you, because we've got one last guest and then we see what this route is actually like. And I know how much excitement there is around that. If you were to give a word of advice to people on taking on the Epic, whether they're doing this one, whether they're going forward, what would that advice be?
Dan, I think it's quite simple. I mean, you've got to start early. You've got to know what you're letting yourself in. You've got to contract with your family on that, because the time is needed. It does consume a lot of time. You've got to spend a lot of time in the bike and on the gym and cross training, because it is an event that is very demanding on the body over the 8 days. But the most important thing is to come with a sense of humor. You've got to be able to see the fun part of it, and really enjoy it. There will be times when you will be wanting to throw your bike off the side of the mountain, and maybe throw your partner off the side of the mountain. But that's when you've got to be able to see the humor in it, and just gather yourself and move on and enjoy the event for what it is.
Well, if you want to understand why that advice is so important from this particular guest, you might not have noticed it because he hasn't broken sweat, but Geoffrey's actually been on his watt bike for the duration of the interview. So I got Geoffrey, thank you for your own insight, but also thank you for the continuation of this extraordinary relationship and partnership between the Epic and Absa. I'm excited, the riders are excited, the mountain bike community is excited, and we can't wait for March next year.
Thank you, Dan. And we're also very proud to announce, as part of this partnership, that we will be renewing our contract with the Absa Cape Epic for another period. So we are very excited about that, and we look forward to working with Kevin and Mike and the team over the years to come. We've been with them for 15 years, and our renewal is very important to us because this is a standout event and is a cornerstone of our sponsorship calendar in the bank. So we're proud of that, and we look forward to March 2022.
And what a perfect note to finish on with, Geoff Lee. Thank you, Absa, for the continued support. No surprise, because it's a wonderful relationship, but great to hear nonetheless.